Icon Radio.
Welcome to the show. The show is The Race. My name is Newton Hamasi, and I welcome you to Icon Radio. Your entertainment, your number one entertainment plug. We are bold, authentic, and fearless. As we start the week, it has been a great happenings in the previous days. One being the reading of the budget. And as many will say, Wanjiku feels left out. Is it true or is it not true? My thoughts today as we start this show in the morning. I wish our country will be a country where we strive to have equality of opportunities and not equality of outcome. What I mean is simple. Equality of outcome looks to ensure people who are disadvantaged are making gains. But equality of opportunities looks to ensure that everyone has the same opportunities to make those gains. One thing I don't know, if CS Yatani was privy to this when he was making his maiden speech on Thursday. It must have been a tough one for him. Can you imagine making a budget that you will not implement? Instead, doing a budget that will be implemented by someone else who will be the commander-in-chief in a few months' time. It's an election year. All these happenings are dependent on the political temperatures that we'll have around. And yes, if the political temperatures are high, then as a country, we are likely to seriously dampen our economic activity. Whereas more contained electoral process could lead to a moderate growth. And that is the most important thing we need to do as Kenyans. But again, I ask, as a country, where are we in solving these issues that we have currently? How will the high cost of living come down? Brave decisions have to be made. We have to be courageous. We have to have leaders who think positive of the future. There's a quote from one economist, Ludwig von Mises, who said, 200 years ago, before the advent of capitalism, a man's social status was fixed from the beginning to the end of his life. He inherited it from his ancestors, and it never changed. If he was born poor, he always remained poor. And if he was born rich, a lord or a duke, he kept his dukedom and the property that went with it for the rest of his life. I hope as a country we are not dwelling into that. We have to stand out, be straightforward, and look at things as they are. If we don't do that, we'll be losing it. That's why I welcome you to Icon Radio, where we discuss this in a bold, authentic, and fearless manner. Ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're listening to us, the politics of today are different. And a common man back in Samburu is wishing for a country that will represent them. Leaders who will be fearless to see them come to their rescue. Make sure you make the best decision come August. Elect a leader who will represent your interest, not a leader who will represent their selfish interests. Think wisely, vote wisely, and we are going to get it right as Kenyans. We'll be right back. Don't go away. The show is just starting.
Icon Radio.
The show is the race. And at Icon Radio, follow us on www.iconradio.co.ke, your number one entertainment plug. We are bold, we are authentic, and fearless. My guest today is none other than Sammy mwenyewe. Welcome to the show.
Jambo mingi.
Yes, say hi to my listeners, you know.
Right.
We are being listened across the country,
yes,
and without the country, within and without the borders. You know?
Yes.
Icon. We celebrate our icons locally, not internationally.
Absolutely.
Sammy, hey, a lot of things have been happening, bana. Budget ilisomwa.
Yes.
Maisha imepunguka ama bado iko juu?
Ni Mkenya mgani atasema haumii sahi?
Yeah?
How many Kenyans are suffering? How many Kenyans?
So the cost of living is still high?
Has consistently been going up.
Why? What is the cause of all this, Sammy?
I think, okay, well, we still go through the natural course of inflation, but and you know, I feel two ways about what I'm about to say.
Right? Why? Say it as it is, man. Because here you have to be bold.
I will always come back to the investment that the country has made.
Yes.
By the government, the investment the government has made in terms of infrastructural development. And we can't ignore the fact that the debt that we are incurring has really pushed the cost of living. This is simply because the government needs to recover and pay the outstanding debt. And therefore, you know, everything must go up.
Yeah, speaking of that, you know, yesterday I saw when Ukuretani was reading the budget policy document. You know, I noticed that as a government, we still have a deficit of almost 820 billion. And you remember, we are almost hitting the ceiling for the debt.
Yes.
So how are we going to raise this money?
Honestly, I don't know.
Are we just borrowing for fictitious reasons? Are we really justified to borrow?
Let me tell you this.
Yes.
The driver behind the push by the current government and our current president, for me, again, like I said, two ways. I feel two ways about it. One, yes, we do need the infrastructure. We do need to develop.
Of course, infrastructure.
Yes, but the rate at which we're developing is too fast for our economy. Way too fast. It needs to happen, and I agree with the president that it needed to happen. It needs to happen. But the rate at which it's happening is a bit too fast, which is why we're experiencing the high cost of debt. And here is now the other side for me. The fact that we're incurring that high cost of debt, all right, means that the government has no other option other to transfer that cost to its people.
And is that a genuine? Is it that we elect bad leaders, or what is the cause of all this?
Unakumbuka tukiambia hii investment si yetu, ni ya watoto wetu. This is why we must suffer now.
And I remember we were told in 2012
for the good of our children.
You know, funny thing, we were told choices have
consequences,
and if their consequences are not now,
yes,
they will come one day.
They will come.
Are we suffering from that now?
I think it has started, but the gravity of that situation has not reached its ceiling. It's coming. It's still coming.
We are still, Kenya should expect worse.
Yes, I feel so. You see, look at what happened in 2020. Everything was all hunky-dory until the pandemic. Were we ready? Did we have the necessary medication? And this is what I'm saying. That investment, as it happened, yes, though necessary, I feel like there are a few miscalculations because we did not anticipate those uncertainties.
Like COVID?
Yeah, like COVID.
But you see, COVID
is what? Let me come back to 2022. Ukraine.
No, the Ukrainian war. Why is everybody putting a lot of pressure on the Ukrainian war?
Because of something that's already happened. The cost of fuel has gone up. The cost of oil has gone up. And here's the thing people don't understand. And I have been seeing people talking about it, the cost of fuel and governments doing nini. Yes, there was that 2 bob that they hadn't paid. Sour. But the reality is people need to understand that the global price of fuel has gone up. The global price of oil has gone up. And therefore, if it goes up, I mean, it's OPEC. It's
demand and supply effects.
Demand and supply, of course. And here at the end of the day, with now the reduction of supply, increase in demand, price will go up. All right. Now, that's number one. Number two, oil, fuel in general, is a major cost of production. If your cost of production goes up, all prices
everything goes up.
And wananchi need to understand, when the cost of production goes up, organizations, manufacturers have no choice but to transfer that cost to its people.
But let me ask you something. Sammy, if you look at it clearly, you understand that 52% of the cost of fuel are taxes.
Yes.
So you want to tell me if these taxes are removed, the cost of fuel is still going to be up?
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
The government needs to survive.
The government needs to survive. But are there better ways to survive?
I'm not justifying. I'm not justifying the many taxes that are in our fuel price. But I also have to be realistic. Okay? The government has borrowed according to its returns. Okay? This is
you think Kenya is borrowing according to its returns? Sorry.
Look, when the calculations were done,
as a country, we are just borrowing as per the needs.
I have to be
of the selfish politicians.
I have to be realistic.
Yes, please.
One of the factors that was considered into how much should be borrowed is how much the government is making so that it's able to service its debt. At least it was one of those things that was considered. And in that consideration, there are these taxes that the government is already imposing on its citizens, and therefore, if we start saying now tuondoe hizo taxes, watalipa hiyo deni ya nchi yetu aje?
No, you see, my question is this, Sammy.
Yes.
Why do we need this debt for?
Development. Look,
no, but funny thing,
Newton. Yes. Look, again, like I said, two sides of this.
Yes.
I understand the need for development. I just thought it was too fast. All right, it was, and I really sympathize with our president. Yeah, because I still feel genuinely it was about development, right? It's just the rate at which it was done was a bit too fast. That I will fault you for that.
The rate at which it was done.
Yes, but we do need the development. We do need the infrastructure. We do need to move forward, right? And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the people who will be there will be like, look, this was done. All right. And at least it's here. At least we are better off than most other East African countries. We've developed, we've urbanized. We have now new opportunities. Transportation is better. We will talk about it 10 years from now and we will not remember venye tulifinyika.
But again, yes.
Tunaona hizo barabara tunasema angalia kazi.
Niulize kitu moja, Sammy. Expressway iko hapa nyuma.
Yes.
It is not a debt. It is a private-public partnership.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So are those some of the projects that this government is purporting to borrow on behalf of?
in as much as you see it like that, I, as a citizen that needs to see development, see that the government did what it needed to do.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
To get what it has given us. All right. Yes. Whether private, public partnerships, the fact that it has been commercialized, I wait to see in 2023 whether it will be the same situation.
It will still be commercialized.
See whether we will still be paying 2,000 bobs G to use that expressway. But for me, I'm happy that there's a road. I'm happy there's an expressway.
Me too.
I'm happy that in as much as it costs us a lot of money, we have the SGR. It has changed things.
We are transforming the country one step at a time.
If we're still talking about corruption, let's deal with corruption. If corruption is the issue, sawa.
Yeah, let's deal with corruption.
But we can't say that the SGR was a bad thing to do.
Just hold on that thought, Sammy. We'll be right back. And we'll be discussing why the government is purporting to want to borrow locally and not internationally. The show is The Race. We are bold, authentic, and fearless. Don't go away. We are your number one entertainment plug. We'll be right back.
Icon Radio.
Welcome back. The show is The Race. We are bold,
authentic,
and fearless.
Amen.
Sam is in studio today, and we are saying it as it is. Before we went on a break, we are talking about this borrowing spree. And if these investments that are being done are going to be beneficial to this country. Where Sammy sits, believes that it's going to be beneficial.
It's necessary.
But we're going to pay a very huge price for it.
Yes.
I tell you. Now, Sammy, do you think as a government it should be borrowing locally? Because when you look at it from a financial perspective, when the government borrows locally, of course the banks will prefer to lend the government because the government of the day will always pay back. They never fail to pay. But if they lend to a common Kenyan who is a hustler like myself and you, I don't know if you're a hustler. I don't know if you are one.
That is a very...
But you see, the bank will prefer to lend to the government than to lend to Kenyans. Do you think it is wise for the government to be borrowing locally?
Is this a story of the ends justifies the means? Or, that's just how I look at it. For a country to thrive, and when you're looking at developed nations, yes, you have to assess. You have to look at what it is that makes them developed. And infrastructure is just one, but there's so many other industries and things the government needs to do to ensure that an economy is growing. For example, an investment in industry, an investment in manufacturing. We need to move from being dependent on agriculture to now going into manufacturing. And I've seen that this government has actually made strides in terms of that. I didn't even know the other day that we're assembling cars and big cars. I hear one day, the German manufacturers are going to come here and start the assembly lines. I was at a function the other day for, I think, Mercedes-Benz. I was at the Mercedes-Benz club meeting, and it was interesting to hear that assembly is starting. So back to the whole story about...
Because just to mention on the same...
Yeah.
VW is being assembled.
Correct. That's what they were talking about. Yes, they were talking about the VW assembly in Thika. And this is the direction that we need to go, because now when you start pushing industry and manufacturing, you're creating jobs. You're doing a whole lot of things to ensure that the economy is growing. But again, coming back to our problem, which is our debt crisis, the issue now is paying back. All right. Now, when you have an issue such as that, now when you start talking about more borrowing, then you have a problem. And a new problem is the fact that the banks now will favor the government, just like you said. And then that now goes to ask, so what's the problem if we are if the banks are gonna be biased against the normal mwananchi, what's the problem? We have to deal with the root cause.
Yes.
And so, if so, what is the solution to this? If the government is borrowing to make sure that Raya has more disposable income, then I'm all for it. But if they're borrowing and still Raya is going to suffer,
But you see, when they're borrowing, they are limiting it.
I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
But why are they borrowing? My question will always be, why are they borrowing? What is this money?
Is there a need? Is there a need to borrow?
I feel there is. Just like any business, a business will never thrive without that element of debt.
I agree. But you see,
and so it's same thing with the country.
You see, but for business, it's different because it's profit making.
Correct.
What about the government?
It's a service to the public, right? You see, when we increase public spending, we create ways of putting money into people's pockets.
Sammy, let us
jobs.
let us face it,
yes.
Bro. Let us face it.
Yes.
Even if you say the government is borrowing to provide service, you as a Kenyan citizen, have you enjoyed this service?
Not yet. Like I said, this is not for us. It is for our children and our children's children. We have to accept that.
No, but you see, when you say it is for our children, are we also transferring debt? Because the other day you read in the newspapers, you're told if you give birth to a child today, then they're coming to life with a debt of almost 20,000.
Correct.
Is that really what we want for our generation?
Our most powerful nation on this earth.
No, we really need to rethink as a country.
No, I'm going to give you similar statistics.
We really need to rethink as a country.
I'm going to give you similar statistics because the most powerful nation in this world, when the person gives birth, that child comes into existence with debt. That's just the reality. But we talk about the debt in America. We don't, because they're a highly developed nation. They're
a first world country.
Exactly. What does it take for us to get to that level?
Good leadership.
Yes, I do not dispute that.
Singapore. Look at Singapore.
Yes.
Honestly, yes. Leadership is the basic fundamental requirement that we need as a country.
Correct.
To make sure that we move.
Correct.
We move forward. And I believe as a country, we really need to think wise. And to our listeners, this is the year of elections, Sammy.
Yes.
We urge you, make the right decisions.
Please go out and vote.
I know where Sammy's heart is, but we are going to discuss that.
Please
vote, and not just vote for the presidency, but also think from your member of county assembly.
Correct.
Because leadership starts from the local place. Know your chief. Know your member of county assembly. Know your member of parliament. Vote for your senator. Vote for your human rep. Vote for your governor.
Correct.
Vote for your senator. And then vote for your president.
Let me tell you this.
Yes.
I am an avid supporter of Martha Karua. And I really, really liked what she said the other day. That the country is busy fighting for its president. But they forget that the resources are allocated to each county and that they must make that a huge consideration when voting.
Very true.
Right? And I feel like civic education is really, really important. All right? Because people need to understand that. As they're busy fighting for who becomes president. They forget
about this.
About hapa grassroots, hapa chini.
Hapa grassroots.
Yeah? Your hand, you have to, as a citizen of this country that can vote, you must do your duty, right? You must. This is not, it should not be a choice. You must. I liked Kagame's approach. I like the fact that Kagame people got people out of the house to go and vote. As in, like, he used government machinery to get people out.
I tell you.
The other part we can discuss later, but I like the fact that it became a must. go and do your civic duty. In the same way for Kenyans, please go and do your civic duty. Go and vote. Remember that at the end of the day, as we cried for devolution, right, this was it. This is what we needed to do. This is what we need to currently do. We need to go out. We need to consider who are we putting in as MCA. Remember, there's a county assembly.
Yes.
The county assembly determines matters county level.
County level.
So who you put there as MCA
Matters a lot.
Matters. That person must be sharp,
Yes.
must be educated, must understand the needs of the public. Don't just go there and vote for your friend or vote for the guy who gave you 50 bob. Yeah. By the way, that 50 bob culture must end.
We must end it.
We must end that 50 bob culture.
You know. Today,
It's ridiculous.
today there's a middle young man who said that if you think a politician is a liar, then you have not engaged with the voter.
Correct.
And I found a lot of sense in that particular statement, because we have tended to move so much to blame the politician, and yet the voter down there as well is so much invested in lying about it. This is Icon Radio. As we take a short break, we'll be right back. We discuss about qualifications for these aspirants. It's very important to vote for your member of county assembly, your member of parliament, senator, women rep, governor, and the presidency. But qualification for these leaders, how do we get it right? We'll be right back. The show is The Race. We are bold, authentic, and my guest is fearless today. I tell you, don't go back. We'll be right back.
Icon Radio.
Back to the political show, The Race. We are political. We have no apologies to make.
None whatsoever.
We are bold, authentic, and fearless.
We must be.
Before we went on a break, we are talking about qualifications of these aspirants, because we have to look at them all the way from the member of county assembly up to the presidency. Sammy, I heard Waititu is contesting in Kiambu. Let me. Someone who has serious allegations and was impeached, for heaven's sake.
He's a bold man.
He must be fearless.
He must be very fearless. but this is the thing. This is the thing that troubles me about our country. And it didn't just start from him. We've also had other governors with issues. We have so many different governors who have cases against them. You still have them in the ballot.
Is it funny thing, by the way, that all these are affiliated to a particular candidate? I really don't know. I don't know.
Do I blame it on the candidate? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's the Kenyans who decide. It's Kenyans who decide. And I say, Kenyans, please vet. Vet your choice. Vet your candidates.
Make wise decisions.
Make wise, very wise. Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm kind of tired of this narrative, Gava's idea. Mr. President, you're responsible for everything. And you forget that a governor is a little president.
Is a president in your county.
In your county.
He's the county top man.
Yeah. So as opposed to taking it to the national level and taking it to your president, take it to your governor. Go and ask your governor, what are you doing? What can you do
to make my life better?
To make my life
better. To make my business environment better.
How come I do not have a job in the county? How come the health status of the county is not good?
It's not good.
Go and ask your governor. Go and ask your MCA.
So vote wisely.
Vote wisely. Go ask your MP.
Vet these guys.
What are you doing with NGCDF funds? Go ask your MP. Go ask your women rep. By the way, women rep. What do our women rep do? Do you know? I
hear their key goal is to is to satisfy the constitutional 2/3 gender rule.
And by the way, for me, that's just been it. There's nothing else other than the fact that we've been forced to have a selection of individuals who just meet a quota.
Yes.
All right. But other than that, what have these women rep done for society? How come I hear sanitary pads, sanitary towels are being taxed? Women rep, where are you? How can we tax a basic need?
It's so sad.
And you guys are just quiet.
It's so sad.
It's ridiculous.
And they're taking salaries home.
Correct. So why are you there?
Even the other day, some gentleman was asking, don't you think it's about time men also contest for the women rep position?
Look, if it's about the position, let it be about the position. All right? So if a man can represent women better than a woman, then so be it.
Yes, they can go and contest.
Yes, correct.
Which county do you come from?
I'm from Nairobi County.
Oh my goodness. I'm from Nairobi Pasaris, your seat is on...
If I'm able to represent women
better than whatever Pasaris is doing, then why not?
You ought to elect me into that position. Yeah,
I tell you.
And let me tell you, I also have a fight when it comes to this whole gender equality in terms of positions and stuff like that. Because what happens is you take away the need for merit. And therefore, you put someone into a position simply based on gender. And that for me is wrong. Again, it is wrong. If you're going to elect someone into a position, let it be merit-based. Yeah, not gender-based. Right? Because you're just going back to making the same mistakes. You'll put there someone, and then that someone will not represent you well, and then you're back to square one. All right? Elect people who are capable of delivering services to you in the way that you want.
Exactly.
Yeah? Not because I'm a man or I'm a woman. Like, I ask, why can't we have a woman president? If all these men have let us down, why can't we have a woman president?
I tell you.
Why not? I just wish she was Vi. Why not Martha? Yeah.
Why not? I tell you.
Yeah. Why not Charity? Why not? We've got so many women leaders. Why not them? Why not have a great, a nation that's made great by women? Why not? We've not tried it, so why be against it?
We should try it actually, because I'm just trying to comb through the requirements to be a member of parliament or women county representative. And funny thing, under the women county representative, there's nowhere they have said it must be a woman.
Yes. By the way, I was thinking about that. It's just...
And funny thing, if a man contested in that particular position, they'll be voted in with the ladies.
Yes. You see, that's the thing. Other than perception bias, that women rep must be a woman. And that's by the way, I'm only basing it on that because legally it can neither be a man.
The name of woman.
Yeah.
So
the fact that it's women rep just creates that perception. But I would like to urge Kenyans to use merit as their basis for
electing these leaders. Come to that now. There's this particular issue of nominations, party nominations. Yeah. We have had ODM is having issues with their nomination. UDA, you're seeing people talking to each other, coming to a consensus. Is it right for political parties to go that route if there are 2 or 3 candidates who are interested in that particular position? Because I want to believe that particular consensus or direct ticketing to the members is kind of disadvantageous to people, to other aspirants. Because one, the voter will not have a right. Because now you see, let's say myself, Newton, and yourself, you're contesting in Nairobi as senators or governors. And then party decides to give you a ticket and you go to the ballot. You see, my supporters will be like, why? Why did you select Sammy and not subject him to a fair game of nominations? Are we going to have a scenario where citizens will be forced to elect leaders who are not their true representation. Because look, take an example. And I've given an example like me and you. We go, we contest, and then later on you're given a ticket. I'm denied. And I don't have the resources to go independent. So my candidature is out. Not because I am not able to, but because I was never given that opportunity to face off with you during the nominations.
My thoughts with direct nominations is that it takes away the citizens' constitutional right
to vote
for their person, because this person is being fronted by a party.
Yes, and
when you do that, you're kind of force feeding the people and directing their choices, and I don't feel like that's right. It's
not right. And I share in your sentiments because, and this is my urge to our listeners today. Don't fail to go and vote because your candidate is not in that particular party. If they decide and they feel disadvantaged or mistreated and they decide to go and contest on independent, give them an opportunity.
Yes.
Because you might be losing on a candidate who will get you out of the problems you're in.
Correct.
As a county.
The development, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they can bring in development. But you see, they're being denied that opportunity.
I think 2017 taught us a big lesson.
Yes.
Suti iliraruka. Ilichafuka ikararuka.
Ikachafuka kabisa.
Kabisa. And please, Kenyans, understand. Understand that this is your future. Yeah.
Don't gamble with it.
Don't gamble with it. Don't come back and say again, Gava, hamkufanya.
Sijui walitupatia ODM, sijui walitupatia Wiper candidate. No, vote for quality leadership.
And remember, a government is for the people, by the people.
By the people.
And you're the people who put those people there.
Yes. And if you feel the party has given a direct ticket to someone who you don't see is going to champion your aspiration as a resident of that region, please resist. Go and vote for your candidate. Even if they are in a small party, even if they are in a big party, if they come independent, vote for quality leadership.
Correct.
And I'm seeing that thing happen in Nyanza. You saw in Siaya.
Yes. Again.
James Orengo is being given a direct ticket to contest for governor.
Why?
Kicking out the former spokesperson, Charles Owino, from the race.
Why? These political games must stop.
Look at Homa Bay.
I haven't said our senator Orengo was voted in without ever having campaigned. In 2017,
even a single poster.
He was not on the ground at all.
But he was voted
in. Ask the people, why? What has he done for you? What has he done for Siaya? Think.
Don't just vote because he has been with Baba.
Think.
The politics of Kenya. The show is the race. We are political. We don't have an apology for that. We are bold, authentic, and fearless. Follow us on www.iconradio.co.ke. Our social media handles, that is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Icon Radio KE. We'll be right back. Don't go away. I have my guest Sammy, and the show is getting fearless by the time. See you in
Icon Radio.
Welcome back. This is Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug. We are bold, authentic, and fearless. Catch us every Monday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. for the Hit Political Show. Just to mention, first of all, we congratulate the black woman, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, to be the first black woman to be at the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Indeed, Joe Biden's promise to have one black person on the bench has come to pass. On the flip side, in regards to justice, in Burkina Faso, the former president, Blaise Compaoré, received a life sentence in absentia for his role in assassinating the charismatic Thomas Sankara. He was then 37 years old. He was painfully gunned down in 1987 coup d'etat that caught the former president Compaoré to power. It was a sad state, and in comparison, back here in our country, Kenya, we really look forward to seeing justice served to those who killed our young, energetic tomboy. Those who murdered Musando, the ICT director, in cold blood. We'll keep waiting. Because even in Burkina Faso, it took years. But it finally, justice was served. So in Kenya, those who feel they are untouchable, those who feel during a political period they can do whatever they can do to get into power, just know that one day the rule of the law will catch up with you. Sammy, do you think we're going to see justice in this country?
See, we've recovered over 4 billion in assets.
Yes, the other day I saw that. I don't know if it was cinematic or it was truthful. Yeah?
It's coming.
It's coming. And on the same topic, we talk about corruption. So those people who think they can steal public funds,
malipo ni hapa hapa.
Hapa hapa duniani.
Hapa hapa. Sio mahali ingine, hapa hapa.
You'll face it here.
You'll face it here.
Sio mbinguni.
Hapana. Hata huko.
Hata huko.
Lakini itaanzia hapa hapa.
Lakini utaanzia wapi?
Hapa hapa.
Hapa hapa.
I know people don't understand this.
Yes.
You know, the way you are not only affects you, it also affects your family. You know, you might go mbinguni, utaenda.
Yes.
Uachie watoto wako haya mashida. You understand? Think before you act. You know?
Think before you act.
Think before you act.
I tell you. You have to.
You have to. There's no other way. You know, I've sat back and I've thought about everything that we have to go through as a country, corruption, all the complaints there have been. You know, some people do it out of necessity. You know, our 50 bob culture when it comes to elections. You know, have you noticed that those same people you're doing it with are the ones who put you in that position in the first place?
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to, you know, you favor certain people, you engage in corrupt deals, but the reason the situation is dire is because of the same said people you're doing these things with. You understand what I mean? You know, as Kenyans, tukiamua, I wish tungeamua. And that's why I still come back. That's why I like Martha. Because I feel like she stands for justice. And I think she doesn't have time for corruption. And I feel like, you know, she
mweupe kama pamba. But again, if you look at on the flip side, if you compare her candidature with Justin Muturi, I think they are. Let us be honest about it. Those, I think, they are the two politicians who have stood out to be straightforward.
Correct. I agree with you. All right. A lot of these people, and Justin for me, still remains untainted.
Because you see, the funny thing is, the two,
but with an affiliation.
Yes, the two are the only ones who have come out boldly.
Yes,
to talk about integrity.
Correct.
Instilling integrity in the systems.
Yes.
Is creating an orderly government.
Yes.
Dealing with corruption precisely.
Yes. I feel like, you know, they both understand the law, and they both understand the people. I feel the fact that Martha is belongs to the law. The interpretation of such would be a lot easier for her. Justin has been there when the lawmakers are creating the laws, so he also understands the people.
Yes.
And I wish, maybe in another life, I wish the two stood together.
Yeah, I wish they could form a very good government.
I wish the two stood together. We would have a very different Kenya.
In 10 years' time,
we would have a very, very different Kenya.
Karua, Muturi, ticket.
Imagine.
It will be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Honest country.
Yes.
Honest leadership.
Yes.
No room for corruption.
Correct. End of cartels. Straight developing nation.
Oh my goodness. Is it going to happen?
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I really pray to look to see that ticket come to life.
Hopefully one day.
Is it too late?
I think for now, yes.
Why would you say?
I think it's now signed, sealed and delivered. Martha is where she is. Justin is where he is. I think it's done.
Come to think of it, you mentioned that, and I remember Alfred Mutua was crying the other day.
Yes.
What is happening in Azimio? Did Mother come and displace everybody?
I think politics is opportunistic, and I remember Governor Mutua was earlier on was very outspoken, very, very outspoken regarding his position. They abandoned each other. I think even in Machakos they abandoned one another, knowing that they will be given important positions where they play their cards. And now things have just turned around. And it's like people forget politics. Politics changes just like that. You understand?
Just on a flip.
It changes just
and
like
things
that.
have changed back.
Today, tomorrow, very different.
I tell you.
And the problem is that I think a lot of people right now are surprised by, the things the developments that are happening. I have been that one guy who said, yes, UDA right now has a huge light that's been shown on them, but wait until after nominations. Wait after May. Let's talk then. Let's see what happens.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be insane. Do you know right now, and this is a game of mathematics. Kila mtu amekimbia UDA. Sio? Yeah, the primaries have not happened. The party primaries have not.
So they're happening.
They will happen.
Everybody will go away.
What happens? There are those who will get their seats. What happens to those that don't?
I tell you.
Umeona watu wakivuka. Watavuka. That's when the truth will be revealed after the party primaries. The true position.
Let us look forward and see how it's going to go down. Yeah. But again, Sammy, just before we end our show, the government has been so tough on service delivery. And there are some projects they have carried out that, to me, they force citizens to do them. And then at the end of the day, they are never very accurate. One is the Huduma number. What happened to Huduma number?
I don't know.
We were told without Huduma number, you cannot get these government services.
No nothing.
Now it is a silent.
Yes. Suddenly now all our lanes must be registered.
Somebody made money and it's done.
Yes.
Now, currently, we are having communication authority saying that if you don't register your line, you will be fined 300,000. Why do we have to live in a country of threats?
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
If I don't register my line,
yes,
why would you fine me 300k? See, I just go and buy another line and register that one.
That's what I was wondering.
Why would I pay?
You know, a joke about it.
Why would I pay 300?
A joke about it is. Now imagine I have a Fuliza of 50,000 on my line.
Yeah.
and I decide not to go and confirm it.
In fact, my Kenyan friends, go and Fuliza. okay, I'm joking. Please don't. Please don't.
Go Fuliza. Chukua ya mshwari, tupa line, alafu ulili hapana. Even the country is Fulizering.
Yes, but you see, you can't hold your citizens hostage over this thing. Yes, ask them to go and register there.
Persuade them.
Do not now.
Don't use threats, man.
Why do we have that threat culture?
Why do we have those?
Why?
If you don't do this, you're going to jail. If you don't do this, you're going to pay 300,000.
People are panging.
Give us a break.
People are panging lines for a whole day outside.
A whole day.
It's
just register line.
Correct. It's not fair. In fact, why don't you create a way of people to register their lines easier?
At the comfort of their homes.
Yeah, correct. Why not? But now we've gone back to it's also called the Mulolongo system.
We are digital.
Enough of torturing Kenyans. They're already hurt.
I tell you.
They're already hurt.
But if you're outside there as a citizen, a law-abiding citizen,
yes,
get your nearest Safaricom place, register, and get yourself out of this problem.
I think it's also the same with Airtel. Go and register your lines.
It's
important that you register your lines.
Yes.
I accept.
Telkom, do it.
Go and register your
so
lines.
that you can be on the safe side of the story.
Correct.
This is Icon Radio. Every Monday, we have inspiring stories. We talk out issues the way they are, in a bold,
authentic,
and fearless manner.
Yes.
We welcome you to be listening to us. All through, just tune in on www.iconradio.co.ke. Amazing hits. Your number one entertainment plug. Don't miss out on anything.
Yes.
On Icon Radio. Because we are the current and the future. See you next time. Be true to yourself. And I end with this. We must promote equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. Everyone has the right to innovate and become rich or wealthy. But let us not pester our fellow Kenyans into things they feel they're bad. I pray that God will intervene and the high cost of living will go down.
Go and vote.
Sammy, what do you have to tell my nieces?
I'll tell them, go vote.
Yes.
Go vote. And
vote wisely.
And vote wisely. And
make sure you elect the right MCA.
Yes, and I will leave with this. Don't vote against. Vote for.
Vote for.
Don't vote against. Don't vote against. Don't vote against Ruto and therefore vote for Raila. Mm-hmm. Vote for Raila because Raila will deliver those things for you.
Don't vote against.
Don't vote against.
Vote for. See you next time. I've been your host, Newton, here. The show is The Race. We are bold, authentic, and
fearless.
Icon Radio.